Melody Ann, and today we're going to continue our conversation about stories and storytelling. Today we're going to talk about, where to put them in a chapter. I'm going to talk a little bit about using stories as an introduction to your chapter, as a transition or segue from topic to topic, or even as a conclusion in your chapter. Where you use the story is entirely up to you, but I'm going to just talk a little bit about each choice and why that might be the right choice for you or the wrong choice for you. So let's get started. So using stories as introductions. First off, when you start a chapter, you want to grab people's attention. You want them to want to read that chapter. You want to let them know quickly, this is about you. You're going to love this chapter. You're going to learn something. You're going to resonate with it, or whatever it is that's going to connect them to the content so that they read the chapter. And a story is a great opportunity to hook the reader. A great personal story or even an anecdote can just grab attention immediately. It makes the topic more relatable, or engaging, and it allows you to set a tone and establish a connection with your audience right from the start. It's powerful for topics that could be abstract or complex or difficult because it helps ground your reader in a concrete example as they move into the chapter. A story is a great way to introduce a theme or a topic. And so it's a great segue into the main topic in the chapter. Choosing a story that reflects the central idea of the chapter will help prime readers for what's to come. And, for example, if your chapter is about overcoming challenges, you could have a small anecdote about a challenge you came across and how you overcame it and how it shaped your understanding, and then get into the content. And of course, stories engage emotions, and emotions are part of what can keep your story or your book engaging and keep readers reading. All right, what about using stories as transitions? First off, if you have two sections that might seem unrelated to a reader, a story can offer that smooth flow from one section to the next, especially in longer, more complicated books. Sometimes it can feel abrupt to go from one subject to the next. And that story can act as a bridge between those sections, and it'll help the narrative kind of flow more naturally. Another thing it does is it maintains reader engagement. Again, if it's abstract and complex, people might, like they get through and then there's a change of topic and they're like, this is really hard, I want to stop now, right? But in putting a story there can help them let go of the complexity for a moment and just, immerse themselves in a story. And remember, if you've watched my other video, how I talked about story being that key to helping us understand complex topics, because it doesn't just touch our cognitive side, it touches our emotional side as well. So story is a great thing to put in to transition between two challenging pieces, and it also, because it engages the emotional side of your reader, helps them clarify complex topics. It helps simplify them as well. And so if you're presenting a really abstract concept and then the next section is another really complex or abstract topic, a story and anecdote is a nice transition from one to the next. And then as a conclusion, you can use a story at the conclusion of your chapter to sum up the chapter, to reinforce the message, to kind of sum up the key points without going, these are the key points. A good story should, at the end of the chapter, should kind of tie back into that central message, offer that big lesson, and leave your readers with a strong and lasting impression. Ending with a story gives your readers something memorable to reflect on. Remember, we talked about, and if you've seen the other video, if not, go check out my other storytelling videos. I've talked about how a story is linked to memory and learning. And so if you put a story at the end of the chapter, it can help your readers remember and learn your content. That message will stick better. And again, it's an emotional closure, right? We've talked about this. Stories are emotional, so it allows for resolution. It shows how the problem is solved. It resonates with your readers. They can see their own path through this. So it ties all the pieces together, and it can build momentum for what comes next in the next chapter. And it can also hint of what's coming. All right. So you can use stories at the beginning, in the middle, transitioning, at the conclusion of a chapter. You can have one story, you can have multiple stories. It's about being thoughtful on how you use story in your nonfiction book. So from here, have you used story in your book? Have you used it as an introduction, a transition, or a closing? And how did that work? Why did you place the story there? How did it pull everything together? Think about what you're writing and think about, how can I use story to help tie things together, to help readers remember, to help readers learn, to help readers engage with my content. All right, I hope this is helpful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.